But yeah, you know, set. Is the room in aircon on or anything?
What do you think? He's always going to
We're talking about what else we could do apart from this. Apart from this, we are talking about what else we could possibly do.
I think
this isn't real work.
No, this is good work. Is that what you're saying? Is this not real work?
No, I'm saying what else can we do outside of this? Real work is in taking work and doing work.
Yeah. Well, whatever work you're doing, then I'm not too sure what you're asking. Oh, right. Okay. Okay. That's time. Now you put me on the spot.
training courses as well, like develop all of these kind of sessions as in marketing.
Yes, you could.
Even if there's any small consultancies or you can do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose in case we're trying to do consultancy, people doing it, right? I mean, you know, ECS and Exception, all those kind of guys, they're basically just going to sell work or whatever it is. They go at the time, and then they just worry about it and the bodies afterwards. That's what they're doing. A colleague of mine in Glasgow was speaking to, I can't remember the guy's name, but he works for the social director or security director over in Glasgow, or they're near Edinburgh as well. They're talking to them about doing sort of pieces of work where we provide them with service, like DevOps as a service, and it's like scalable up and down. So if you need 1 or 2 people, fine. If you need 5 or 6 people, fine. And it just scales up and down. Because of that as well, because you're delivering a service, IR35 is an issue because it's not like a dependent person. So that's an option too. But
that's exactly what we're trying to do.
I have mentioned that to me. I mean, what kind of things have people doing to try and approach that work? Have you hired a sales guy yet?
Have you one will say?
Good question. So it's a hard start. What past 6 is it? So we just pick up at that time, or
it's really up to you. You can start at past 6. You can wait for people to arrive. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them.
yeah, we'll wait a bit. And in terms of timing and stuff for the sort of interval, how does that work? Because I'm just thinking about the stuff I show. I might take it a bit further, depending on what sort of time everyone's going to stop for refreshments.
What time would you like to stop? How long is the first segment? 45 minutes?
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes. Yeah.
Well, as soon as you start, then I can put the timer on, and then aim to have pizzas arriving for them.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Just run across the road and get some pizzas. Do you vegetarian, vegan as well?
We don't need any of the coffee sweet.
No, you don't.
Thank you so much.
I'm eating as well.
I'm eating vegetarian, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Vegetarian but borderline.
Okay.
Spam is vegetable.
Yeah. Not me, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean that's the kind of thing. I suppose it's difficult to try and find the opportunities. Well, we just started doing stuff like that. Okay, so it's still pretty new to me. I've had ideas of doing this kind of stuff for a while, and that's where we sort of started talking about it. But it's only been recently that I started doing stuff with the Scottish Government. But it's not just DevOps. You know, they've got people in there doing stuff like delivering testing resource or dev resource. People like 2i testing are doing this for them, or 2i.
Yeah,
and it's just like building services for them. So
No, that's all good. I'm just saying, one second. Sorry.
yeah, I mean,
But we can talk about
No, I was looking for it. That's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, they're not here.
Alright,
Sorry, I just kept my hand in there.
Yeah, because I'm using another three
Swing it there, if you like. I can open the box.
Things are more.
Just use
it for the battery lots.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So did you get the same thing as well?
Yeah, and we have talked about it. Something like
Hey there, there you go. Never seen.
this thing's
The register's just gone.
Yes or no?
is that a coincidence?
I don't know, well, he's put in
And where are you going up to?
I'm not completely sure, but I think I'm going to my great from as far as to local to Playtown. Docker. I'm just up, I'm not quite sure.
Because of the scary sort of stuff.
Yes, I haven't used some stuff for a few years. Lots of those. I was used to it. Son 3 times.
Did you see my son? Did you see my son? Sunrise, I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I haven't used the emulator for 5 years or so. I know it does, but I I mean, all of the system around it.
You guys following along? Yes, yeah, if you want to put the Wi-Fi
I'm an hour for a speaker as well.
there,
Haven't
you just grab that that's what we'll be using during the
I'm sure that's what it's yeah, you've got our own 2%. I think it's contributor outside dance, but I would not
I'll be able to meet
hello. I did properly say yeah. Nervous.
I wasn't. Yeah, that's probably grab one tonight.
It's like my same words. It's like much. What's that? I've still got my school. I've got the silly
I saw you somewhere.
Vision of service. Everything is cloud, so it's to start. That's inspiration.
We're having a memory, we're in the display. And why are you blinking your eyes there? Because I know. That's good. That's good. It's the first time we come another friend doing that.
It's just because I didn't know she did a song last time.
Oh, right.
I didn't know she did last time.
Because was an email from Mikhail as well. It was in Philippines. Was it?
Oh, really?
Is Liam still around? Is he crying in the corner?
He seems very calm. He seems very calm actually until recently. I don't know, he said he might not go to the start. But it's a gambling order all of it. That's taken over.
But no questions.
But he's up for doing it, though. That's interesting.
What? Yes, sir. How are you doing? Good. Yes, how's you? Cool. I'm not really well, I need to why do you get it here? We are doing it.
Oh, very nice. Just come out quickly. Judge please the bodyguard any echoing in the
But you have to live with this around the maybe around. You have to.
It was actually going to be like background stories, essentially setting up sales rights login, inside login, sales rights, the ownership of money, obviously centralized. Just a way to separate to external login services.
Yeah, you would. It's so cool, like, so powerful as well.
So excuse me. Just press that up on that. Yeah. Be there or yeah, sure. Do you want to do that?
Do you want to do the first page?
This is that way.
No, the period. Before the first page, that's one. What's that? The 0 page?
That's 0. Computer lines do.
Hi everybody. My name is John Pikulas. Thank you for coming. Maybe some of you know me before. We got some Jenkins jams here and some other cool stuff. So today we're going to have a really interesting presentation about how to provision AWS instances through tailor. So Liam is going to do the presentation. So I'll give you Liam.
Alright, welcome guys. Nice to see you all. If you want to follow along, more I'll do so. These details you'll need in your AWS account. Do you guys need me to stay on this screen for a little bit to get those details down? Yeah, that's alright, just hang on to you guys. You'll also need some money in your AWS account as well, so you won't be able to do this on the free tier. Well, you can try doing it with free tier instances, but it may not work. I haven't tested it. I've only used commands.
The free one is still telling you to put your bank details. It's free when it says you put your bank details.
Yeah, if you want to follow along completely as it is, you'll need to enter some billing details into AWS, and you won't be able to use the free. I've not tested it.
Yeah, for signing up, you don't need to pay that over.
Yeah.
With your examples, can they use an existing VPC?
No, they can't. It's crazy. And also, I'm planning this to, just after we run the Terraform apply, I'm planning to have the break at that point, so if anyone needs to catch up, I'm around with you guys up and running with it if you've got any issues. So everyone kind of ready so far, or take that as a yes? So what we're going to cover today is provisioning OpenShift infrastructure called Terraform. This replicas and everything, credits and you don't need to use Terraform. You could, for example, use run up locally on your box, but tonight we're just looking at these four. I think I mentioned before as well, we're going to have two parts to this workshop. First part is going to be getting the Terraform up and running and provisioning the infrastructure. Then we'll take a break, and then the second half will be deploying OpenShift with Ansible. So I was wondering earlier how I got into this position, and I work at ROS. We have centralized login capability using the F-stack. I'll just close this door up here. And we use this centralized login capability to log all our logs. Another squad, some of my teammates at ROS, they've spun up OpenShift and they're using it in production. Out the box, OpenShift comes with its own ready-made logging stack. We didn't want to have two logging stacks running, so I had to look at how I was going to get the logs from OpenShift into the centralized external logging stack. So I had a look online. There's quite a few repos out there actually that do a similar kind of thing, but I settled on this one. I was able to spin up OpenShift very easily, and I was able to test out my ideas and work out the configuration changes that I needed to make to OpenShift to send the logs to the expo. I was telling Don about it at the pub. He got me drunk, plied me with alcohol, and then said, "Will you come and do a workshop on it?" And at that point I said yeah, and well, here I am. So that's kind of the background on how I came to using this stuff. So what we'll cover. I didn't know, I wasn't aware of everyone's expertise and stuff, so I thought I'd run through some of the technologies that we're going to be using, just so everyone has an idea of what we're talking about. So Terraform, it's from HashiCorp. It means that your infrastructure is essentially code, so you can do all the codey things with it, like versioning, shared, reused. It works with heaps of providers. I know I've only got two up there, AWS and Azure, but it works with many others.
Is this like a cloud formation equivalent? Is it similar to that?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Cool. This manipulates cloud formation, so it interacts with AWS at that level. The good thing about it is, when you're running it and using it from like an admin point of view, is it's got the execution plan, so it tells you exactly what it's going to do. So there's surprises when you run it. That makes it good as well for making changes. As I've mentioned there, change automation simpler. When you run it, it puts a resource graph, so it shows you all the dependencies in your infrastructure. That makes it more efficient, so it can run in parallel when it's building your infrastructure, and it can determine what the dependencies and stuff. So overall, that's Terraform. Ansible. In this scenario, we're using Terraform to provision infrastructure. Here we're going to use Ansible to configure that infrastructure, so we can use it to compile language. So you basically tell it how you want your server to look, you run it, and that's how it makes the server look. So it's kind of like similar to Puppet and Chef in a way, but it's push-based, so there's no plugins, agents, or anything like that installed on the host. It just runs over SSH. The playbooks within Ansible are the main scripts, and they're written in YAML, and then basically you've declared. AWS, comprehensive evolving cloud platform from AWS. They're always adding like services and knickknacks and stuff to it. It's amazing how quickly it changes and how quickly they actually get changes out the door and new products and stuff. So it's a mix of infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Common characters in there are compute, storage, databases, networking, and so on. Its characteristics are elastic and scalable, and it's OpenShift. The idea behind it really is complexities of Kubernetes, and I just focus on the business, makes it really easy and supports pipelines, so you can inherit order. So I haven't done anything about Kubernetes, but Kubernetes is it's Kubernetes like the long, but I tested this on, which I think you guys have all got if you're following along. Looks a little bit like this. So we have one master node, one master OpenShift node, so that's actual server. Node 1, 2 are also servers, and the Bastion host is also a server. So we spin up these. We use a hosted zone, so we can specify DNS for the internal servers, and that all sits on a public subnet. Like I said, this is not prod ready, essentially. This is literally just to get up and running and test out ideas and so on and so forth. Obviously, you can take it further and make it production ready. It's on a VPC, and we apply it in a single region, so again, no failover there. So that's it, and this is just a list of the things. So you can already appreciate the power of Terraform. If you wanted to spin this up every time you wanted to do a proof of concept or a spike or just some testing or whatnot, it'd be a real pain to kind of run all this by hand. Nightmare by the GUI, and then also not that fun just interacting with the AWS API either. So you need to installing Terraform. It's fairly straightforward. This is what we'll do now. So if you want to follow along, if you go to the repo and terraform install.md, that's what I'll do it on here as well while we go along. So you just download the zip file from Terraform. So like I say, it's all in this this repo here, so you can literally just cut and paste these in. Unzip it, put the bin directory in your mine's already there. I'm going to move this one in. You see that I've got Terraform in my bin directory. So once you have it in there, you can just test out Terraform. Give you the commands you can run.
Okay, let's get the West. Is it only on Unix that we can download it, or can we download it on Windows?
Yeah, you can download it on Windows, yeah, certainly. Like I mentioned before, it takes that long to run in during the break. So if you want to check that it's working, install, just do Terraform -max version. So it's quite useful on the help page there, just by running the execute or let you know all the options and so on that you can run. AWS will need to set up some credentials and pass those credentials in some form or another to Terraform, so it can connect to the AWS public APIs and do all the work that we've specified for it to do. If you want to do that now on here. To users, add user. Here, check that box, and let's go to permissions. This scenario is setting up attach existing policies. What we'll do here is we'll give it administrator access. Again, if this is production, you're doing it in your workplace and stuff, you probably won't want to just blindly give it administrator access, you probably more than likely set up some fine-grained controls within AWS. It's straightforward to do. The permissions and IAM and the way it's set up in AWS is very granular, so you can get really good control over stuff. But for now, we're just giving them administrator access. And you click review. So we have summary. It's going to give us an access key, which is what we're after here. And it all looks good, so create user. So the important bit here is that you grab the access ID and the secret access key. This is what we're going to provide to connect to the AWS public APIs, or you can just click on show, grab those details and put them in a notepad for the next section. Credentials, attaches existing pod to it slightly differently, restricts certain things, and then success, and again the things you need here are the access key ID and the secret access key, and you may want to just paste that into Notepad or download the CSV.
But just programmatic access with admin? Yeah,
that's right. So this here, so check the admin access box. Select the attach existing policies first, sorry. So there's a number of ways you can pass these credentials to Terraform, the AWS CLI tool. So basically it provides a host of commands for interacting with AWS. Again, it gives direct access to the AWS services, public APIs, so you can do all manner of things with it, list buckets, create buckets, all that kind of stuff. But for this purpose today, this scenario, we're just using it. So we have the credential file which Terraform uses. So what you want to do next is install AWS CLI. So sudo apt-get install AWS CLI. I'll just give a ways you can use this running AWS configure for the AWS access keys. Just pop those in right now, do those as defaults. If you've done this before, you can just open up the AWS config file that you see in the block below, containing the details that you entered in the step before. So you can just go over and write that or create a new profile in there or whatnot. Working by the sounds I can hear of tapping keyboards, so it starts to go a little bit faint. I'll move on to the next slide. So I hope you guys start playing a game or something here for a while. So now that we're like almost there with user credentials, we can actually run Terraform. The repo that I'm the Terraform files. We're using makefile to filing stuff. So I'll just show you that if you run Terraform commands and start, which will then prompt you. Do you actually want to go through this? We use it throughout this testing URLs one, so it's fairly when you just read it. So, like I said, the Terraform command get and apply. So the direct files and all that kind of plugins. Terraform get, that will download any plugins and modules that you need that are specified within your Terraform files, and then finally Terraform apply. When you run that will build the plan and then prompt you if you actually want to go ahead and build the infrastructure. So let's go ahead and do that now. We'll deploy the infrastructure. Terraform 5 things we mentioned in the earlier, etc. That results in 27. The infrastructure. So it's creating all these things. So really, really useful, really cool, really powerful. In fact, very easy to destroy your infrastructure as well. Take the whole thing down, but equally easy to build it back up again. So I think this roughly takes around about four minutes or so. So it's pretty good for when you consider what it's actually setting up. So it's using the power of AWS, but still, it's pretty cool.
What region is that installed on?
US.
US.
Yeah, you can change that actually.
You know, if the notes in the Git repo, the README, is that enough in case we can't keep up?
Yeah, it is. And like I said, once this is installed, the plan was that we then split for a break, and if anyone needs to catch up, then we can do that in the break before we deploy the Ansible config.
Cool, so the first step is setting up the infrastructure and then using Ansible to configure the server stuff.
Yeah, so saying someone earlier, all these tools, Terraform, Ansible, Puppet, they all overlap. Terraform also does some configuration management, but it's really kind of identifying the best tools for the job and stuff. So really, Terraform kind of, it was always originally for kind of provisioning and stuff and spinning up infrastructure, but now it's started to encroach on, certain areas of server configuration and stuff. And Ansible as well, you can spin up AWS infrastructure with that, and so on. So there's overlap there, but just for tonight's scenario, we're looking at the different. More interesting is in the second half is we look at how the variables in Terraform are then used to populate the Ansible inventory, because every time you blow away Terraform, it spins up with new IP addresses, new DNS, all that kind of stuff. So it has to be taken into account when you run the Ansible. So that's Terraform spun up in go to the console. You can see that there's now four instances. Yeah, there is 4 instances: the OpenShift Master, Node 1 and 2, the Bastion. And of course, if you drill around anywhere else and look at VPCs and stuff, you'll see that the VPCs and all the other components and stuff have been created. So I was planning on breaking here. I don't know if that's still worthwhile, or give you guys a chance to catch up anyway.
I was going to ask, sorry, I'm asking what's in a public subnet?
Yeah, it's just so we don't have to connect directly to those hosts. So the
right, okay,
yeah,
cool. I guess it kind of simulates it if you did have it on private, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and it also kind of lends it to how we actually do the install of Ansible, because we don't want to be running Ansible directly on this host. So we need a host where we can, kind of run Ansible from and stuff, and that we do it from a bastion. So we kind of need that as a support box. But yeah, absolutely right. It's not production and kind of like
At least 20 minutes before the record.
20 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Is it okay? Yeah, absolutely.
So, excuse me, do we have all these documents online or?
Yeah, they're all going to be online and they're going to be uploaded, and I've got some stuff at the end of the slides of where you can get online and get these and stuff.
And all those URL, like the URL to download and things like that will be there?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, alright, so what I might do, we are within the repo. Let's have a look at the main Terraform file. Someone asked about region and stuff. We're just passing that in as a variable. If you want to change that, you can do so by going to the variables and changing the region here. So you can change that to whatever you want it to be. We've also got some other variables declared in here. So our key path, and then for subnets and stuff and availability zones, we just use this map. So if you specify East 1, you can figure out which availability zone falls under those. So some variables, bringing it back to the main. So here we have the variables that we pass to the module OpenShift. So modules within Terraform, there are cuttings. Shift Terraform file shortly. Touch on this in the second half was just make or other parts of your system.
I guess the reason we're paying is for TGLR.
But again, this change it. There are some hard-coded instances within the OpenShift module. So if you wanted to give it a go on the free tier, what you need to do is go to
change it to micro, maybe. Maybe change it to micro.
Yeah, I mean, give it a go. I haven't tested it myself, but
micro may not run because OpenShift even for the one which you are doing is 3 gigabit.
Yeah. So I haven't tested it, but I know that OpenShift is pretty strict about the infrastructure it can run on. So again, within here we've got the variables, and within this module for OpenShift we've broken up all the different areas of configuration into logical groupings. So you've got the tags, AMIs, BBC, security group, roles, nodes, DNS, bastion, inventory, and output. So if you want to alter the instance type of the node, I think it's hard coded in here. So yeah, you've got instance type here for the nodes, master, M4X large. And then on the nodes that we create, it's using the variable that I mentioned beforehand, which is in the main variables file. So, any questions or queries at this stage?
So when we run, I think we ran the make OpenShift command, or was it the
make infrastructure?
Make infrastructure.
Yeah.
So that then goes through the .tf files, like I guess, and use those like a manifest to build the infrastructure.
Yeah, that's right. So we're in the
Yes, I'm just going to.
we're in the repo. and this contains the Terraform files, and it also contains the make file that we use to automate these we run.
Right.
So if you have a look in the make file, if you write the top infrastructure, so when you type make space infrastructure, that's just a shortcut to run those 3 Terraform commands.
Okay.
And it'll initialize the directory as a Terraform directory and do stuff with state backup and stuff, and then it will get the modules and plugins that it needs, and then it's provisioning of the infrastructure. She follows the ship I'll go in. So in the second half, the Ansible takes a little while longer to install. So it takes about, I don't know, maybe anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes. I haven't timed it exactly. So that downloads all the OpenShift packages, installs it on nodes, makes it all sure it's all up and running. At which point you'll have you'll then log into OpenShift and deploy applications or use the registry and stuff like that. So. Any other questions or queries?
So the Ansible will be installed on the Bastion?
The Ansible package will be installed onto the Bastion. We'll also copy the inventory file to the Bastion, and then from there we'll execute an Ansible command.
Which should provision it to hosts?
It won't be the master node. Yeah.
With separation, will you use Terraform and Ansible to install?
Yeah. Let's find it. It's good, yeah? Is it as comprehensive, say, as some of the configuration managers? I've never used it in that way before. But,
Terraform actually, I mean, I've used it in Azure side of things.
Yeah.
It's quite simple to configure things using Terraform because it provides you all the wrappers for, say, ARM templates on Azure, CloudFormation on AWS.
Yeah.
You just need to configure and run it. That's it.
Does that mean you have to build a lot of it from AMI images that are sort of pre-canned?
You can do that, or you can build from scratch and then create your AMIs.
Would you need to do that? Say if you're provisioning the server with Terraform, and then you wanted to configure that server, e.g., let's say you wanted to install Vi on it, then would you then write a script
yes.
and Terraform would call that script?
Yeah.
So it would be Terraform and Python or Terraform and Bash?
I use Python.
Python, yeah?
Yeah.
You can use Ansible with it, but
yes.
you have to use Bash first. But like there's not a shell script for Terraform. You can have a plugin for
Yeah.
Big plugins as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you can call Ansible directly with that?
Yes.
So
Okay, yeah, that's good to know.
get it.
Yeah.
Started with Python, so
it's quite common right now. I mean, other people that I've sort of chatted with, they use Python fair bit with Terraform and don't use Ansible or any other configuration management tools.
Well, Ansible provides you the traceability in what you have actually done.
Yeah.
It provides you version management, things like that, which, of course, with the normal coding and all, you have to read it in some Git repository and things like that. Which also, Terraform also can be version control.
Yeah, infrastructure is code, yeah.
And Ansible.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the way all these tools are starting to kind of overlap somewhat, aren't they?
The biggest problem is which one to use. I mean, from manageability, maintainability, or easiness, Terraform.
Yeah.
Because Chef and Cupboard needs to configure which Ansible is better.
Yeah. And if you're using a mutable hacking on these boxes, whereby it's quite useful if people are making changes.
It becomes trickier at times.
Yeah.
I think they're aggressively pushing Puppet now because they know they're on the back foot. They're trying to make their software more open source and cheaper for other companies that work with. But we evaluate Ansible and Puppet. It's just really hard to pick Puppet. It's really hard to but they push so hard. They rely on the relationships. I did hear that is Ansible not moving into the Terraform space, kind of looking to do more of the actual infrastructure build now as well?
Well, yeah, you can. That's like all these things are overlapping now. All these tools are overlapping, so you can provision AWS components with Ansible as well. So you can do it with Puppet as well now. So they're all kind of trying to tick all the boxes, I suppose.
Does Terraform generate CloudFormation? Is that the way it works?
Yeah.
So does it generate CloudFormation locally? How does that work?
I think it just does it by calling the public APIs. Yeah.
That's a bit confusing though, because isn't the whole point of CloudFormation and then Terraform just an extra step? Or
when you run that and it changed it slightly to add a load balance. So working with JSON hands-on directly isn't that much fun.
I guess it's fun. I guess you could build a much wider
priority to AWS, so it's closed, but yeah.
It's quite verbose as well. If you look at what you would write in Terraform versus CloudFormation, you end up writing a lot more to achieve the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. Alright guys, I think that's it for the first half. Time for refreshments and whatnot, and then we'll come back and we'll do the Ansible configuration and get OpenShift up.
Put this in the other door.
Never worry about one of the uses log in that's URL then you use it. It's
serverless, anyone using the code.
That's really fantastic. Big experience with this dog. This is definitely better.
Very well, this is.
I think let's just say goes a lot like
Just that's what we did. Yeah, and I can set
yeah, sure, no, that is. Didn't say initially, didn't get that far when you subject for that. Just like previously I was at RBS, so
and previous.
It takes seconds to get in. My code is right. Yeah.
I don't want to get involved because look at trust. It's good to know. I think it's necessary. Firewall, no.
Yeah, make it well. Let's do something,
How long did you run?
Could be. Maybe obviously, to get that, you've done your AWS, you figure out if you knew the key. No, but it's putting a key there, it's to be used. Yeah, I wonder. No, but that's not your account. Because you're using your own account. Yeah. No, but that's not a new account. You're creating. Yeah. I can see it. Okay, we roll. Assuming.
Basically, what it's saying is it's very simplified to the security.
So you rolled out. That's right. So in Route 53, just trying to create that's the area. Just create an area for each of the roads. So I think places where the same
I'll just select all the
Yes. It's an open shift, hyphen AWS, hyphen user. Yes. So that is the one, which is very good. So
So
should be able to roll it out, it should be fine. I'm actually only going to say
yeah. So obviously in some kind of using Kubernetes.
And they like
and occasionally forget that much change. So, like coming in and want to go now to Winchburg and then come off there and go Kirk Liston on the cycle path. It's actually really good. You can do most of it on cycle paths or really small roads.
Yeah, I think the same right the other it joins the aqueduct, the one that comes from Falkirk, and jump onto a right couple of miles of now
Cool. I think it was before, so I've got a gravel bike, but that's not a commute on. I've got a fixed gear that I can use and stuff.
I should have thought that you did that in
It's really good now. Like a few years ago,
just to recap from there.
Yeah. That's alright.
I only go to Winchburg.
Shit. No, that's not I didn't think of that.
Slice of pizza. I'm just going to quickly run so quickly, just to recap. Essentially now we've set up this infrastructure on AWS, which is a network, public subnet, 4 hosts, including Bastion and some basic log aggregation. We've installed Terraform, which is very straightforward. You just download the binary and unzip it. Check that it's working. We've done that. We've created AWS credentials, so Terraform can connect to the AWS public API and execute the tasks we need it to. We've just done that. We've given it administrator access, and we've grabbed the access key and secret access key. We've installed AWS CLI, which is from AWS, and it just allows you to interact with AWS's service public APIs. The main part of this, though, really was just to set up the credentials file. So we've done that. We've added the access key and secret key in there. We now run make infrastructure, which is around Terraform init, Terraform get, and Terraform apply. That's actually, and now we'll go on to the second part. So again, like I mentioned in the first half, we're using a makefile here just to automate much of the stuff. So now we're going to run OpenShift, and it's going to run through these like bash. Probably the most important bit here is copying the inventory file, which, as I mentioned before, I believe, but it copies the it with Terraform, and it puts it onto the Bastion host, and then it runs the install bastion.sh. So I'll just kick that off now, because it takes a little bit of time to run. So that's just going to install away, help you install OpenShift. We get Terraform and Ansible. The linchpin of this really is the inventory file. So you guys that are familiar with Ansible, you'll know that it uses the inventory file, host names and stuff like that to work. When we spin up AWS infrastructure, IPs, DNS, all that kind of stuff, they change every time we destroy it and spin it up again. So we have to do it dynamically. So the first port call is Terraform output variables. So these allow us to organize data in such a way that we can query the data and show it back to the user. So I've just grabbed a snippet here of the outputs here. So here we're declaring the variable name and then AWS attribute. So in this case, it's the AWS instance called Bastion, and we want to grab the public DNS. This one is similar, but we're grabbing the public IP. And again, it's the same thing again, but we're grabbing the private DNS. So we can then use these variables further in. So if I flick back to the command line, we go here, we can do a Terraform show. Okay, yeah, it's not showing us output. So when we call this command here, Terraform output Bastion DNS, you can see that we get the attribute DNS name Bastion host. So then we can use this command in future scripts. So yeah, back to the dynamic inventory file. This is, like I said, it's the linchpin of Terraform and Ansible working together. So once we've deployed the infrastructure, we really need to have a reference to that infrastructure within Ansible so it knows where to run the playbooks and so on and so forth. So we do this with Terraform here. We do it by doing a template file. We specify the template file here, so template.cfg. That's going to be populated with variables, and these variables are declared here. And then we create the inventory. What this does is it renders the template file and creates this inventory.config here with the values, with the variables populated. So next screen. So yeah, this is inventory.template.cfg. So this is before it's been rendered by Terraform. So here you can see we've got it populated with variable names. We had here, so master host name, and that references the AWS attributes. And then as soon as it's rendered, we create the inventory.cfg for this template, and you can see there that it's actually populated with the actual values from the AWS attributes.
When you say render, do you mean after then the OpenShift find those values and then populates them?
No, the inventory file is created via Terraform. So when we run Terraform, that's aware of the infrastructure that it's creating using output variables, and then we use those output variables to generate the Ansible inventory file.
Right.
So yeah, two separate things, but it's important how these two work together. That's good. So it's okay. Is that backwards? Then moving on to OpenShift, what we're currently doing. So again, here you can see we're referencing the output variables that we've declared to run script. So in Terraform output Bastion public DNS, that will generate the DNS of the Bastion host, which means we can interact with it, install the keys and so on and so forth that we need to. Again, the important bit, we copy over the inventory CFG. So when we run Ansible on that host, Ansible's the inventory file that needs to configure the servers. So this is the install from Bastion bash file. We go through the process of installing the packages that we need. The OpenShift installer, which is essentially Ansible, and we download the Ansible OpenShift playbooks from GitHub onto the Bastion host. And then finally, once we've downloaded those, we run Ansible playbook. We specify the inventory file that we generated from Terraform and copied up to the Bastion host, and then we run the playbooks prerequisites and then the cluster, and that goes through the process that we're seeing now of deploying OpenShift to the host. So it has been known to blow up in the past. Hopefully it won't happen now. Usually when it blows up, I just destroy Terraform, re-provision Terraform, and again, it's only happened once in a while.
If you do destroy Terraform, what happens if you want to roll back and make infrastructure if they're on
roll back as in?
Well, or would you have to manually delete all your...
all the stuff in AWS? No, just run Terraform destroy, and that will absolutely annihilate it.
Cool.
There are times I've seen it, I didn't get to the bottom of it, but sometimes I've spun up this, and then there's been resources left behind in AWS, and then I've got to spin this up again, and then already exists, and you just forge ahead with it. I just went manually found, which is curious, so found out which ones I'm deleting. I wasn't sure how it came about.
Resources left behind?
No.
It could take a while for an event in AWS, it's deterministic, so it means that it took a while and it failed.
Yeah, it's likely,
so this is OpenShift, like standard deployment Ansible playbook.
Yeah.
Are they idempotent? Or not really? Is it actually a scripted install essentially?
I haven't done. I haven't run through lint or anything like that, or used any testing mechanisms on them. Yeah, good question. Yeah, I don't know.
That's the next one.
But I mean, have you not tried to run it again now, see what happens?
No, but I never needed to. Yeah. I mean, Terraform doesn't take long to destroy and provision, so it's very quick. So those deploys will better access OpenShift. Anywhere we have projects and so on. Just for a second, Any other questions?
Did you produce all these in the repo, or is that? So I think at the beginning you said you mentioned something in the pub. Was this the GitHub repo that you found?
No. Don was in the pub, but online, and the main author is a guy that lives in Singapore.
Right.
And I said, do you mind if I use your repo for this workshop? It's really got to his I hope they're getting you loads of beers in this workshop. He says it's an MIT license, so you can do whatever you want with it. And if you need anything, give me a shout. So, yeah. But yeah, if you want to go on and contribute, I've done a couple of pull requests to it, and he's really responsive. So gets back to you pretty quickly and stuff. So it's a cool guy. So if you want to use this and take it forward for any particular reason, doing it, it's like fairly. There's a little bit of it's quite busy repo, considering it's just an AWS Terraform.
How long do you get? Like, if you imagine you were building this from scratch, it must take quite a lot of time to do all the architecture and write those?
I'm not sure, because essentially you refer to the OpenShift documentation and see what the instructions requirements are for OpenShift. If you look through the Terraform post, it's actually pretty lean. There's not there's one OpenShift module. Within that module, it has all the logical components that it's set up, so it's pretty lean, to be fair. There's not too much to it. The Ansible is probably more as a code than the Terraform.
Presumably with the Ansible stuff though, you can scale it, they've designed, the OpenShift folk have designed it so you can just say, I want, X many nodes, and it will just,
so when you create the inventory file, you would then just specify additional nodes within there that you spin up with Terraform, and away you go.
What have we done so far with Terraform that couldn't be applied for mission Terraform? We're just defining the VMs and the security groups and that sort of stuff. There's nothing OpenShift specific about the Terraform side of things. There's nothing AWS specific, apart from you know you want to produce an inventory file that looks right. That's great.
So now you can do all this in cloud forms for sure, And I think there's some other tools out there.
Troposphere maybe?
That's it, Troposphere, that's the one, I haven't used it personally.
I only use it just because it's in Python, it's Python native. It's quite nice. It just feels a wee bit inceptional because you're like writing Python to write JSON, which might write Python again. So it feels a wee bit weird.
Around the houses.
It looks good though.
So there was some conversation during the break about, sorry, I don't know OpenShift at all there was some conversation in the break about storage being one of the sort of problematic issues with OpenShift. Do their playbooks for deploying OpenShift give you all the options for deploying storage, or is it more that the playbooks are get a test OpenShift, deploy your own?
Like persistent storage and all that kind of. I know that this works out of the box. I'm not that familiar with the OpenShift code, but I know that the team that I work closely with, just overhearing their conversations and stuff, there's a lot of work went into and around the whole kind of storage aspects of OpenShift. So I imagine that there's probably a fair bit of custom work you may have to do there to get it to work in the way that you need, depending on whether you're using VMware or AWS.
So this is provisioning something that probably doesn't have actual persistent storage support.
If you use Kubernetes, isn't that what the service is for? So the service, for example, the Kubernetes SC, I forget what it's called, the VSC, and that ties into whatever storage you have.
So that's PVC, I think they're referring to.
Is it? So Is that not solved? So the OpenShift sits on top of Kubernetes, right? So I guess that means it's fairly trivial, is it?
Underneath it will be Kubernetes object PVC, wherein we define the storage and the limits for not just the repository, the container repository, but also otherwise what is needed for OpenShift to run. So
I think that abstracts the persistence, doesn't it? So it's persistent because you can just have as many pods as you like, and then like you say, that basically works with whatever storage you've got, if it's AWS or if it's Azure.
So we define the limits on the pods and the memory usages as well, because that is by design. We can't have unlimited storage, of course, provided to pods and things like that. I mean, it will help you in scaling up things quite quickly, but it will bring other maintenance issues in terms of if other pods need the space and the one is eaten up the whole thing, then it becomes a challenge. So all those things come by design, and of course based on whatever we are building, either microservices, micro front ends, things like that, and we are containerizing them, then there is a process to define those resource limits. So typically resource limits will include your memory, CPU, persistence, even the mounts. If you are having a file-based application wherein you have to persist your files, then how much storage will that they need. So all those kind of limits have to be defined per pod. Or you can have shared pods, shared storages, which is also possible, but you need to see that you're not updating the things parallelly and things like that. So there are a lot of iterations to be made. We are talking about storage and how Kubernetes actually handles the whole thing.
Because it'd be absolutely nuts if you went and did it all, like script your storage without using a Kubernetes storage service. Because you know what I mean, like if if anything, one of your pods drops, that's it, it's gone.
Yeah, but Kubernetes will always try to restart it.
What I mean is if you don't use the service, so if you don't use the Kubernetes storage service. So the only thing I'm trying to understand is how OpenShift, like
OpenShift in a very simple terms is a wrapper of Kubernetes. That's what it
Right.
It is giving you management, governance, and monitoring features over and above what Kubernetes offers.
Okay, so
Everything is Kubernetes. Other than what OpenShift has done is they have created a couple of more objects, if you like that way. So for example, in Kubernetes side, if you want to make a call to your service, we use an ingress controller when it is called OCP as a route, which is nothing but an HA proxy sitting top of your service. That's it.
Because it can be
I think on the sales pitch that Red Hat make for OpenShift is that it provides more robust security over Kubernetes.
Yeah.
I play with Kubernetes is a little bit flaky, and the main point is
it can still be achieved by building things up of Kubernetes Spain, but
you make a play on the Kubernetes isn't actually secure in what they do, but rapid they secure. They say it takes 3 months for every latest Kubernetes leaks. OpenShift adopt that until they've actually secured nailed it.
So it's not diminishing the functionality at all. It's stuff.
No.
It's just
you can anything whatever you can do in normal Kubernetes with some change, because L5 is, say for example, deployment way. What they call as in Kubernetes is a deployment controller. So there's like changes.
Right.
Otherwise, you can use it as is.
Cool. Thank you.
So it seems to have run through okay. So we should now be able to
This gives us the address.
Just a quick question. Does AWS or Kubernetes, does it do anything like automation of testing? Is there any testing involved?
Yeah, Kubernetes is just an orchestration platform. Testing of pods or testing of what testing you're looking for?
Maybe testing of pods or
Maybe the applications running as pods on Kubernetes.
Yes.
But that is something which we do in normal Docker things, right? So you can create your own test automations and things like that. You can spawn your containers and you can run your test cases within the container and kill those containers. So it's not a Kubernetes concern, neither AWS.
so yeah, the Ansible ran okay. OpenShift is deployed. If you're following along and you'd like to jump on, just type Terraform output. That will show us some of the output variables that we've declared. So you want to grab this one at the bottom, that's the URL, and that will allow you to jump on, access. The password is admin, and the username is admin, and the password is 123. Completely secure.
XIP.io domain, is it a free name?
Yeah, free service, yeah. It's really good actually. So it saves a lot of hassle.
So far you've just run the make infrastructure and make OpenShift, more or less. Everything else was just us just walking through
just the initial setups and stuff. So I didn't know how long it was going to take. I didn't know it'd be kind of following along and stuff like that. So we've sort of essentially got to almost the end of the slides really.
Did you say the password was 1234?
Just 123. Yeah, everyone goes to 1, 2, 3, 4. Find out exactly what's the job.
1, 2, 3, 4 is like the extra magnitude of security. Or it's possible.
So, yeah, we thought it'd be good to demo this today. We touched on the provision of infrastructure, just code, and server configuration using Ansible. We're thinking maybe at the next one, perhaps doing a poll, see what people are interested in. Talking outside, I think a lot of people are keen on maybe deep dive OpenShift, possibly, but I think Don, Raju and John will kind of organise that through the meetup and stuff, so any feedback and stuff that you have is appreciated.
So if you just like click on MongoDB, does that actually just create a MongoDB database then?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
That's the idea. So it's easy just to deploy stuff. But
So what we've installed so far with OpenShift has got a Docker container registry under the covers somewhere, and some Red Hat approved Docker images that are represented by those.
Yeah, just a caveat to that. So with OpenShift, you can use only Red Hat images. You can connect to Docker Hub, but if you're using the Red Hat scanner, image scanner, it will not work on that.
But you can create your own image
platform
and just like that.
Yeah. Oh really?
Yeah, you can create your own image, connect to the registry, and just push the registry.
Yeah. But if you want to scan them, it doesn't do it.
No, the scanning part, because but you can create your own images as well.
Yeah.
The templates, what do you call it, the templates?
Yeah. Correct. Image streams, basically.
Yeah. Streams, yeah. You can create your image streams. So it's more from an organization perspective. If they want to give out, say, for all the developers, use a standard Tomcat image stream which has the security patching and some logging and all that kind of thing in there. Yeah. So everybody uses from the same stream.
Correct.
It just.
But that is like you have to import it into your OpenShift registry and then use it. Yeah. So some of the customers I work with, they just block access to Docker Hub altogether, or even to Koya.
I think by default the Docker Hub is blocked.
You can add it in the configuration, but by default it will not be there. Even Koya is not allowed.
So are you talking about your customers and their general network policy, or
security policy?
So within OpenShift, can you configure a different Docker registry to the ones that want? Could you use the Nexus Docker registry?
Yes, you can. You use Artifactory or Docker repository.
So these are good. They're probably pretty valid and trusted by the organizational part of it.
But that's an overhead. Essentially, if you're using Artifactory or Nexus for that.
So then the management. But there's still a case for we probably want some Docker images, very personal now. We want some Docker images that help with the CI testing. That are quite specific to some applications.
In that case, you don't have to worry about OpenShift at all. I mean, you can use your normal Docker infrastructure.
Might not have normal Docker infrastructure.
Okay.
Might have to sort of score a peg and then totally.
So just wanted to give some credit to the main author of the repo we've been demoing tonight. Like I say, he's a really cool guy, so if you want to do anything, contribute anything, pretty responsive, so just jump. So probably not that useful, but just feedback for automated IT solutions. So Don, John, and Raju. So thanks for setting all this up tonight. All the slides and everything will be on the website, so this will all be accessible. And
which websites? Automated Solutions, IT Solutions, I guess.
Yeah, so if you want to go to either the meetup or Automated IT Solutions, just hit someone up on there.
Will you be sharing it on the registered email IDs, or does it go on Facebook or Twitter, things like that?
Sorry, the slides. They'll be on Meetup, I believe.
Okay.
Is that right, Don?
Yeah, we'll put it on the website as well, and we'll have it.
Yeah, so they'll be on the website and Meetup and stuff. But, thanks so much, guys. It's been very just open for general discussion now, I think.
beer.
Yeah, I think that's over a beer, yeah.
It's not the storage value of how it's correct users.
It's the left side, yeah. Yeah.
So if you use in place for users, because it's also on premise, it's
I think like the Quinn was like there was a problem with OpenShift storage, but it's always infrastructure, isn't it?
Excluding flag. Yeah, thanks so much. Cheyenne, last week. Yeah, no worries.
My actual original plan with the whole website, OpenShift Ansible playbooks, actually configure the underlying storage in a production sort of table way. Yeah,
so you can trigger, so you tell us
what you have, you can do. Okay, so yeah, I was just wondering, it wasn't clear how much for get a demo installed, or whether or not this is all installed, or whether it's this all installed and have all the options.
From the start with so you want to
Yeah, it's relatively the option.
yeah, we go deep down in
Okay.
So you can go to the more you